I have some breaking news for you guys, but first, some of my favorite stories over the past week have been about Trump voters who only decide to Google what a tariff is after Trump won the election and realize, wait a minute, that actually affects my day-to-day life. Or Trump voters who only Googled Trump's deportation plan after he won the election. Well, this speaks to a broader trend that we're about to see when he enters the White House called "The leopard ate my face." It comes from this tweet. Quote, "I never thought leopards would eat my face," sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. And I don't want to mislead you guys. We aren't seeing Trump voters leave en masse by the million, realizing their mistake. We aren't seeing MAGA crumble, but we are seeing certain Trump voters, specific Trump voters in key states saying, wait a minute, tariffs actually do affect me. Wait a minute, mass deportations actually do affect my family members. And I want to read to you a few of these stories today, but first, let me break down what Donald Trump just posted, because I promise you this will be one of the biggest cases of the leopard ate my face that we see over the next 4 years, and that is RFK Jr. as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. And I will get to the health implications that we will face down the road, but first let me read this. Trump posted, literally 5 minutes ago, "I am thrilled to announce RFK Jr. as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health." Donald Trump talking about disinformation is rich. I'll break it down in 1 second. He then says, "The safety and health of all Americans is the most important role of my administration, and HHS will play a big role in helping ensure that everybody will be protected from harmful chemicals, pollutants, pesticides, pharmaceutical products, and food additives that have contributed to the overwhelming health crisis in the country." He then said Mr. Kennedy will restore these agencies to the traditions of gold standard scientific research. My big question here is, what the hell is RFK Jr.'s qualifications to lead the HHS? And don't you dare tell me that he just has a jacked body or that he can bench 405. That is not a qualification. Just because he's an environmental lawyer doesn't mean he knows anything about the FDA or about the health of a nation. And a great example comes from this article. Trump unleashing RFK Jr. on public health would be a disaster. Let me read this example really quickly. In June of 2019, RFK Jr. visited Samoa with his anti-vax organization, Children's Health Defense, meeting with local anti-vaxxers and government officials at a time when the country's measles vaccine was under attack. He ended up boosting the prominent anti-vax voices, and his company, the Children's Health Defense, blamed the vaccine for 2 infant deaths the prior year. Vaccine rates subsequently plummeted from 60 to 70% to 31%. Only a few months after RFK Jr.'s visit, measles swept through the freshly vulnerable Pacific Island nation, killing 83 Samoans, mostly children. Kennedy doubled down, writing to the Samoan Prime Minister to question whether a defective vaccine was responsible, but you can draw the direct correlation between RFK Jr. getting there, vaccination rates plummeting, and deaths skyrocketing because vaccines work, folks. Vaccines work. And this brings me to my broader point here. There are going to be so many leopard ate my face moments after RFK Jr. makes sure we only drink raw milk, after RFK Jr. nukes the FDA as he said he wanted to. And the FDA has been around since, I believe, 1907 was the year. And before that, there were no standards for our food. So meat could be delivered spoiled already. The lack of regulatory control caused food to be both more expensive, but also more prone to contamination 10 out of 10 times. And listen, it's really interesting because there's a nuanced position you can take here. Yes, we shouldn't be putting red dye 40 in all of our food, and yes, fast food in America is definitely a little bit too much, but at the same time, nuking the FDA, nuking all of the guardrails that have existed for over 100 years in order to help keep our food safe, and essentially sending our food supply back to the 1850s is not the answer. Is not the answer. These people keep saying they want to take a chainsaw to the regulatory state or to the FDA, when you maybe just have to make some slight changes, some slight reforms. Bernie Sanders didn't want to take a chainsaw. He wanted to reform what already existed so more people have healthcare or access to this stuff. But let's move on to the main story in this video that I thought was absolutely hilarious. This tweet went mega viral. It has 7.3 million views, over 200,000 likes. So people are getting the message. People are understanding these stories that are coming out. Someone tweeted out, "My MAGA cousin who voted for Trump texted in the family group chat, and it reads, "After reading the econ lecture notes, I have come to the conclusion that not only will grocery prices not drop, but the produces and other products will get worse. It's a lot to type, and I'm in public, but will expand upon my reasoning later, but expect no longer finding green bananas. Good luck on citrus, especially since limes and lemons are exported. Dessert and pastry prices will skyrocket." Another Trump voter learns what a tariff is, and it only took the near destruction of our democracy. Maybe. We don't even know if it's going to end up being destroyed yet. But now this Impact ended up posting this. People waited until after the election to figure out what the hell was going on in this country. For example, if you look at the bottom of this Google chart right here, you can see where my cursor is. November 4th, not many searches. This is probably November 5th, not many searches. On November 6th through November 7th, you begin to see a spike in searches. What is Trump's plan? On election day, people are searching, what is Trump's plan? And you know, not everybody has the time to be fully engrossed in politics like you and I. So I understand if you're only getting to do research a few days before the election, but these people on election day are asking what Trump's plan is, and to make it even worse, what is a tariff and who pays it? We only saw people searching this on November 7th, searching this en masse on November 7th. It spikes then. The three branches of government. People began to search what the three branches of government are on November 6th. On November 6th. You know, I had a MAGA friend hit me up and say, "Trump won, let's go, baby." And I said, "Buddy, can you name the three branches of government?" And he responded, "No, I cannot. You got me." Literally, it was that simple. And you know, he wasn't really too mad because he had already won the election, so they were just shitting on me. But the big one right here, what is a tariff? Interest over time. And we can even go back. People were looking up what a tariff is mid-October. Oop, it spikes a little bit on October 26th. It goes down. But on election day, on or around November 4th, 5th, 6th, it begins to boom, spike completely. And let me explain to you the scenario that could play out over the next few years. Now, of course, I don't wish harm on anybody. I voted against Donald Trump in his absolutely apocalyptic, terrible policies. But as far as the next few years and the effects that Trump voters will feel from Trump's policies, I do think that tariffs are going to hurt disproportionately middle to lower class people, people who voted for Donald Trump. The richest people in the country, like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, won't be affected, but people who work their asses off every day, people like you, people like me, we will be affected by the tariffs because things get more expensive. That's what inflation is. Next, the mass deportations. Those don't affect me personally. I mean, I do have a grandma who's from Syria, but she is here completely legally, but there are many Trump voters in the country who will see their close family members deported, and not in a clean or nice way. It's going to get bloody, as Donald Trump said. The big one that I think is going to backfire in a massive way, again, is this RFK Jr. appointment. We don't know exactly how it's going to turn out now. Is RFK Jr. just going to be toothless and just making recommendations? Or as the head of the HHS, is he going to actually nuke the entire FDA as he wants to? If that does happen, that may perhaps be the biggest case of the leopard ate my face, because all of these people will be like shitting their brains out, just drinking raw milk all the time. There was even one person the other day who said, "I voted for Donald Trump because I want him to destroy Obamacare, so we only have the ACA." And someone went, "Dude, Obamacare is the ACA." And he went, "What? I can't afford to lose my health care. I'm on the Affordable Care Act." So again, I would never ever want somebody to lose their health care. My close family members are on the ACA, but if this Trump supporter who voted for Trump didn't figure out what the ACA or Obamacare was until after, the amount of empathy I have just goes down a lot, and I'll leave it at that. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and peace out.